Every time you post online, you're paying a tax. Not with money, but with your self-worth. Every like, every comment, every little hit of approval costs a tiny piece of your confidence. Because here's the truth. You don't scroll for entertainment. You scroll for validation. And social media has turned that into a currency, one that's inflating faster than the dollar. Welcome to the price of validation, the most profitable addiction in the modern world, and the one we call connection. The beginning of the trade social media started as connection, a digital town square, a place to share. But it quickly learned something powerful about human psychology. The brain doesn't just crave communication, it craves recognition. Every like, share, or comment triggers a tiny spike of dopamine. Your brain interprets it as proof that you exist, that you matter. And that's how validation became the new oxygen. We don't breathe without it anymore. You post. You wait. You check. And each notification is like a breath until it's gone again. You think you're sharing, but you're trading pieces of your identity for microseconds of attention. The marketplace of self-worth, social media, isn't free. You pay for it with emotion. Every post is a transaction. Your self-image in exchange for approval. It doesn't even matter if it's real. Your brain can't tell the difference between genuine praise and empty engagement. It just knows that someone noticed. And that's enough to keep you hooked. Validation becomes the product. And you, your thoughts, your image, your vulnerability, become the packaging. The algorithm of insecurity. Here's how the trap works. The algorithm doesn't show you what you like. It shows you what keeps you scrolling. And what keeps you scrolling is insecurity. You see people doing better, looking better, living better. Your brain compares. And every comparison chips away at your worth. It's not an accident, it's the model. Insecurity drives engagement. Engagement drives profit. So the algorithm feeds you the one thing that guarantees you'll stay: doubt. The currency of attention likes are the digital version of applause, a sound we can't stop craving. But when applause becomes oxygen, silence feels like suffocation. That's why people delete posts that don't perform. That's why you check your analytics at midnight. That's why influencers call burnout content fatigue. It's not fatigue, it's withdrawal. Because once your self-worth becomes tied to your numbers, every dip feels like rejection. You're no longer a person, you're a performance, a brand, a product. And validation is your paycheck. The emotional debt. There's a hidden cost no one talks about, the emotional debt of performance. When you curate every moment for approval, you lose your relationship with the unfiltered self. You start editing your personality in real time. You think before speaking, not to be kind, but to be liked. You start posting what gets engagement, not what feels authentic. And over time, you forget which version is real. The more validation you collect, the less peace you have, because now, every moment feels like an audition. The validation hangover. Validation gives you a high, but like any high, it comes with a crash. The more you get, the more you need. The silence between notifications starts to feel unbearable. That's why you open the app again, and again, and again. It's not about connection anymore, it's about survival. We've turned approval into a biological necessity. We call it community, but it's really dependence. The truth is, you don't need more likes. You need detox. The narcissism trap. Here's the dark twist. Social media doesn't make you narcissistic. It makes you insecure enough to need narcissism as armor. We all become the center of our own stage because the algorithm rewards performance, not presence. Even authenticity gets monetized. Cry online and the system pays you for it. Your vulnerability becomes a brand. Your pain becomes content. That's not connection, that's exploitation disguised as self-expression. The psychology of projection. Every time you post something, you're not just expressing, you're projecting. You're saying, "This is how I want you to see me." And over time, your identity becomes shaped by what performs well, not what feels real. That's why people with huge followings still feel invisible. Because validation doesn't fix loneliness, it amplifies it. The more approval you chase, the more you abandon your inner compass. And when you lose that, no amount of attention can fill the silence that follows. The rebellion, redefining validation. The only real rebellion in the digital age is authenticity. Not the kind that performs it, the kind that's okay with being unseen. It's learning to validate yourself before the world does. It's creating without counting. It's being enough without broadcasting it. You don't have to quit social media. You just have to stop giving it ownership of your emotions. Post what feels true, not what feels safe. Share for meaning, not metrics. Because the moment you stop chasing validation, your value becomes non-negotiable. The real price of validation is identity. Every like you chase is a small withdrawal from your authenticity account. And eventually, the balance runs out. But here's the beautiful part. You can rebuild it. Through stillness. Through silence. Through creating without applause. When you stop performing and start being, you rediscover something social media can't manufacture. Self-respect. And that's the only validation that compounds. Closing message, you are not the numbers on your screen. You are not the version of yourself people react to. You are the person behind the post, the quiet, unseen, unfiltered version who exists even when no one's watching. And that version doesn't need validation. It just needs permission. Because peace isn't found in applause, it's found in authenticity. And that's the price worth paying.